HOA president used my dock for her wedding, so I set it adrift during the ceremony. The lake shimmered under the late afternoon sun, its calm surface a cruel contrast to the storm brewing in Tom's chest. 4 years, he'd fought the HOA's iron grip on the neighborhood, led by Karen Whitmore, the self-appointed queen of Lakeside Estates. Her rules choked the community, banning gardens, dictating mailbox colors, fining kids for chalk drawings. But this time she'd gone too far. Karen had commandeered Tom's private dock for her daughter's lavish wedding without so much as a courtesy call. The audacity burned. As he watched caterers swarm his property, stringing fairy lights and setting up floral arches, his blood boiled. This was his land, his sanctuary, and she'd turned it into her stage. Tom wasn't a vengeful man. A widower in his 50s, he valued peace, tending his small cabin by the lake, fishing at dawn, and keeping to himself. But Karen's entitlement was a match to kindling. She'd sent a curt email the day before. The HOA has approved the use of your dock for Emily's wedding. It's for the community's image. No question, no permission, just her usual decree. Tom's protests were ignored, his calls unanswered. By morning, his dock was unrecognizable, draped in white tulle. A rented red carpet rolled out for the bride. Guests in tuxedos and gowns began arriving, their laughter grating against his growing rage. He stood at his cabin window, gripping a mug of black coffee, watching the ceremony unfold. Emily, radiant in white, walked arm in arm with her father toward the dock's edge, where the officiant waited. Karen, in a garish peach dress, beamed from the front row, basking in her triumph. Tom's jaw clenched. He'd warned her once, years ago, when she'd find him for his unkempt lawn. "Cross me again, Karen, and you'll regret it." She'd laughed then, but today he'd make good on that promise. His plan was simple, born of spite and a spark of reckless genius. The dock wasn't fixed, it floated, tethered to the shore by 2 heavy ropes. Tom had spent the morning loosening the knots, leaving just enough tension to hold until the perfect moment. As the vows began, he slipped down to the water's edge, unseen behind a cluster of pines. With a quick tug, the ropes gave way. The dock lurched, drifting silently at first, then faster as the current caught it. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Emily stumbled, clutching her groom. Karen shot to her feet, her scream piercing the air. "What the hell is happening?" Tom stepped into view, his flannel shirt catching the breeze, his face a mask of grim satisfaction. "You wanted my dock, Karen? Take it for a ride." The guests turned, stunned. As the dock floated further out, the wedding party scrambling to balance. Karen's eyes locked on him, her face twisting with fury. "You bastard! You'll pay for this!" she shrieked, but her voice cracked with desperation. The officiant tried to calm the chaos, but the crowd was unraveling. Some laughed nervously. Others shouted for help. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Old Mrs. Delaney, the neighborhood's quiet widow who rarely left her porch, hobbled forward, her cane tapping the grass. She'd been Tom's neighbor for decades, always nodding politely but keeping her distance. Now her voice cut through the noise, sharp and clear. "Karen, you had this coming. You've bullied us all for years. Tom's just the first to fight back." The crowd fell silent, stunned. Mrs. Delaney, the unassuming observer, had been keeping score. She turned to Tom, her eyes glinting. "I saw you loosen those ropes this morning. Should have done it sooner." The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Karen's allies in the crowd shifted uncomfortably, their loyalty wavering. Mrs. Delaney's words gave voice to years of silent resentment. The dock, now 100 feet from shore, bobbed helplessly, the wedding in ruins. Emily sobbed, her dress soaked at the hem. Karen's face crumpled, not just from anger but from the weight of her exposed tyranny. Tom hadn't just humiliated her, sparked a rebellion. But the victory was bitter. As the dock drifted, Tom's smirk faded. He'd wanted justice, not chaos. Emily, innocent in her mother's schemes, didn't deserve this. The guests' accusing stares burned into him, and Mrs. Delaney's approval felt hollow. He'd won the battle but lost something deeper, his own moral ground. He waded into the shallows, calling for a neighbor's boat to retrieve the stranded party. The rescue was slow, awkward, and silent, the celebration irreparably broken. By dusk, the lake was calm again, the dock towed back, the guests gone. Karen stood alone on the shore, her dress muddy, her pride shattered. Tom watched from his porch, a whiskey in hand, his heart heavy. He'd fought for his rights, but at what cost? Mrs. Delaney's words lingered, a reminder that vengeance had united the community against Karen, but it had also fractured something in him. The neighborhood would never be the same. Whispers of Tom's stunt and Mrs. Delaney's defiance spread, sowing seeds of change. But the price of that change was a wedding ruined, a daughter's joy stolen, and a man's quiet life tainted by regret. The lake, once his refuge, now mirrored his turmoil. What do you think, who was right, Tom or Karen, in this clash of justice and entitlement? Share your thoughts on where the line between vengeance and fairness lies.